Welcome back, everyone. Well, it's a look at health with Dr. Paul Arciero. Welcome, Paul.
Well, thank you, Jesse. Good to be here.
Great to have you here. We got a topic we're going to talk about today, kids' drinks. And we'll give you the backstory on that in a second. But before we get started on that, how's the research project going called the PRIZE?
The PRIZE study. You know, we've got 60 of the most motivated, conscientious research study participants I've had in a long time.
Wow.
And they're showing up at 5:30 in the morning, and some of them as late as 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. So we got them exercising all through the day, and they're putting forth their best effort. They're sticking with the study requirements, the protocol, and they're all getting in really good shape. So it's a lot of fun.
The protocol is exercise and diet.
It's a combination of exercise and diet. It's 4 days a week of exercise, resistance, interval, stretching, and endurance. So we call it the RISE.
Yeah, I remember. Sure.
And then they're having protein at evenly spaced times during the day. So the P for the PRIZE.
And what are you hoping to gain at the end of the study?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, one of the questions we're looking to answer is there a difference in, let's say, for example, you want to exercise first thing in the morning. I know that would not happen, but let's just know. So if you were to exercise in the morning and I was to exercise in the evening, is there a difference in how our body responds?
Yes.
You know, some of us are more inclined, kind of innately, to prefer to get up and exercise and move in the morning. Others of us are more inclined to move later on in the day. Is there a physiological drive and effect of people when they exercise at those two different times during the day? There's a lot going on inside the body.
Oh my God, yeah, sure. So we're going to be checking in with Dr. Paul every week. I just want to know how it's going.
Good.
Because it's a big undertaking.
Huge.
You have a lot of instructors. You have to oversee the whole thing, and you've got 60 participants in this study. Wow, that's really something.
Testing my reserves.
I bet it is.
So I got to take care of myself.
All right. Well, since you're not a kid anymore, we're gonna
Darn.
let's talk about kids' drinks. Now, backstory on this is that I happened to be at one of the morning places to get my coffee, and I noticed that today kids are off and the parents were in there, and I looked on top of the counter and it was all soda. This is at 8:30 in the morning, and it was all soda.
Or those very, very fraps or whatever they make, right?
Oh my
And
God!
full of
it
sugar.
was it was really something.
Yeah.
So I asked Paul about it, and of course he knows a lot about the subject. Kids' drinks. You immediately, as we know, you go right to the sodas. High sugar, high caffeine, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You know, the sugar is addictive, as is the caffeine, and so those are what are marketed to the youth. You know, from adolescents to tweens and teens. You know, it's targeting that either high sugar or the combination of the high sugar and the caffeine.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, there's a lot of unwanted substances in what we have available for young kids. So we've got to shift the paradigm of how kids, but then also parents, nourish their kids.
Well, you know, these kids are being seduced in a way because you're right, caffeine and sugar are both very addictive, but it's also laying the framework or the groundwork for terrible habits as you move through life, right?
It sure is, because, you know, that wallop, I mean, think about what's contained in a typical soda or one of these drinks that you observed at some of these, you know, establishments that sell these. You know, they're high calorie, all from sugar.
Right.
And then the caffeine. So these kids are having a massive abrupt increase in their blood sugar, and then it's sending them crashing down soon after. And not only that sugar, so not only is it really adversely affecting their energy level, but it's also depositing the energy, that sugar, into their body energy stores as fat.
As fat, sure.
So, you know, it's a double whammy for them, and that's where the concern for a lot of parents is, because some of these young boys and girls are growing up with an extra amount of fat accumulation on their body.
Right.
And so sugar's the culprit. So we got to kind of, again, reshift our thinking here and provide them fluids that are more health promoting, but then taste good. They got to be tasty, because if they're not tasty, the kid's not going to drink it.
You think about that. You know, I had this experience when my wife and I were raising our daughter. We knew that we could provide a substitute, a healthy substitute, but it had to taste good. You know, let's face it. You can be a kid of any age. You like it to taste good.
Right. So what do we have? We have milk.
Yes.
And so you can continue to do that, preferably in the form of skim or 1%. 1% is fine. And for some kids that are, you know, failing to thrive or to really gain weight and develop, they can go to a 2%. Then
let's go to the other things. So the seltzers, the waters,
right.
the fruit Although not all fruit drinks are created equal, right?
No, they're not.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of the fruit-infused water. So it's nothing more than taking either plain water or a seltzer water and cutting up your fruit of choice. It can be grapes and cherries, apples and oranges and grapefruit, and you put it into that water, and what a difference it makes.
Yeah.
And then they have fun at the end of it because they get to eat the the fruit that's still in the glass. So that's a wonderful, they're getting good vitamins, and the flavoring the water is going to help them too. So that's a great alternative to some of the other really high sugar drinks. Now, if they want to choose a full 100% juice, I would still, in most cases, have them go 50-50 with either, again, plain water or the seltzer water.
Well, you know what? The fruit drinks especially are somewhat, I'm going to say misleading. I'm not sure that's the right word. But, you'll say, it'll say, 100% juice, and then a little asterisk from concentrate. Then you turn it over, you look at the label, and the concentrate is sugar, 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 sugar. Right?
Yeah, it's a little bit, it is.
Even if you get one of those drinks, diluting it with water,
yeah.
And of course, you're hydrating your body in a positive way too.
You are, but again, that's a very good point. It has to be the 100% juice. That's the defining difference between those drinks. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Those are great. And then for those that want to maybe go to another flavor enhancer, they can use some teas. So there are some kids that want to drink tea, and that gives them kind of a little natural energy boost, in the form of mild amounts of caffeine. But then they can add fruit and fruit juice to that tea as well. Yeah.
I was saying to Paul before we went on that's what I do. I make hot tea and then put orange juice or apple juice to top it off, and it gives it that really rich flavor. Tastes fantastic, and of course it's good for you.
So then you go to the next family of drinks that we need to provide kids, and that's the sports drinks. When they're exercising. Now, if they're only exercising for 45 minutes to an hour, Jesse, they don't need anything more than water. But if they're kicking their body into a higher level of activity, and they're sweating and perspiring, as we're hopefully going to get to be able to do here soon, they need to have some electrolytes. And so the big ones, the big electrolytes are sodium, potassium, chloride, magnesium, and calcium. Those are the 5. Now, the 2 main ones that we sweat out, of course, are sodium and potassium, and a little bit of chloride as well. So those 3. So what I recommend is any drink that has some additional electrolytes in it. And I have in many ways drinks that I give my kids that have been doing it for years, my wife and I, putting in a little bit of juice, orange juice or some other fruit flavored juice that has some potassium in it, and then adding in a little pinch of salt, a little bit of honey, and then lemon. And it's a great natural sports drink.
That's right.
Yeah, it's great.
And it tastes great too.
Tastes good.
So you know who you are. Those people buying soda for their kids at 8 or 8:30 in the morning. Not a good idea. But the whole idea is it makes you think. Expose them. Have them try something else. If it tastes good, the kids they'll jump in. And especially putting a fruit in water.
Fruit. One more I wanted to add. Yeah, in the summertime,
ahead.
taking fresh fruit or fresh fruit that you've frozen and putting it in a blender with a little bit of water, a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of honey, blending it up. Nothing better to replenish fluids and get those kids to suck it down.
Boy, you got that right. And if you happen to be an older kid, maybe put a little vodka in there in the summer. So you can't recommend that.
I can't.
I can get away with saying that, and you can't.
Good for you.
Oh, great
It's your show.
No, it's our show. Hey, great. Thank you for coming in. We'll
welcome.
be checking with you next week on the research program and whatever else we can come up with.
Oh, there's
right?
always something. We'll have something.
Great. Thanks for coming in, Paul.
Thank you.
To see this interview again, head to our website, looktvonline.com.